Imagine a train that can travel hundreds of miles at high speed, carrying thousands of passengers, without drawing a single watt of power from overhead electrical lines, and without burning a single drop of diesel. Even better, the only thing that comes out of its exhaust pipe is pure, clean water vapor. This isn't a sci-fi concept for the year 2050. It's happening right now. Welcome back, tech enthusiasts. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most exciting innovations in modern transportation: the hydrogen train. As countries worldwide race to cut carbon emissions, the railway industry faces a massive challenge. While major tracks are electrified, tens of thousands of miles of rural and regional tracks still rely heavily on dirty diesel engines. Electrifying these remote tracks is astronomically expensive. In this video, we will break down exactly how these trains work, the core components hidden beneath their sleek shells, and the massive advantages, as well as the serious hidden disadvantages that could make or break this technology. Let's get started. To understand a hydrogen train, you first have to realize that it is, fundamentally, an electric train. The only difference is that instead of getting electricity from a wire above, it manufactures its own electricity on board. To do this, it relies on 5 main components. First, we have the hydrogen storage tanks. These are usually mounted securely on the roof of the train. Made of high-strength carbon fiber, they store hydrogen gas under immense pressure, typically around 350 bar, to pack as much fuel into as little space as possible. Second is the heart of the system, the fuel cell stack. This is where the magic happens, turning chemical energy into electrical energy. Third, we have the lithium-ion battery bank. Hydrogen fuel cells are fantastic at providing a steady stream of power, but they aren't great at handling sudden spikes in demand, like when a train accelerates from a dead stop. The batteries act as a buffer, storing extra energy and delivering a massive power boost when needed. Fourth are the inverters and power management system. The fuel cell generates direct current, or DC, electricity, but the train's motors often require alternating current, or AC. The inverters seamlessly convert and distribute this power in real time. And finally, the traction motors. Located down by the wheels, these high-efficiency electric motors take that electricity and convert it into pure, silent mechanical force to move the train. So how do all these parts work together to pull a multi-ton train down the tracks? It all comes down to a beautiful chemical reaction inside the fuel cell. Inside each fuel cell, there's an anode, a cathode, and a special central membrane. Hydrogen gas is pumped into the anode side, while regular oxygen from the outside air is sucked into the cathode side. When the hydrogen hits the anode, a catalyst splits the hydrogen molecules into 2 parts, positive protons and negative electrons. Now here is the trick. The central membrane is designed so that only the protons can pass straight through it to meet the oxygen. The electrons are completely blocked. Because they can't go through the membrane, the electrons are forced to take the long way around, flowing through an external electrical circuit. As millions of these electrons move through the circuit, they create a powerful electric current. Once the electrons reach the other side, they reunite with the protons and the waiting oxygen. The result of this reunion? Pure water, H2O, and a little bit of heat. This electricity flows straight to the power management unit. If the train is cruising smoothly, the power goes directly to the traction motors. When the train brakes, the process reverses. The motors act as generators, slowing the train down by capturing its kinetic energy and turning it back into electricity, which is pumped right back into the lithium-ion batteries. It's a closed, hyper-efficient cycle. Now that we know how they work, let's talk about why global railway networks are investing billions into them. The most obvious advantage is zero tailpipe emissions. Traditional diesel trains emit massive amounts of carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter. Hydrogen trains emit absolutely nothing but water vapor and warm air. If the hydrogen is produced using renewable energy, the train becomes 100% carbon neutral. The second major benefit is cost-effective modernization. To convert an old diesel track into a standard electric track, you have to install thousands of miles of expensive overhead catenary wires, build substations, and alter old tunnels to make room for high-voltage cables. This can cost millions of dollars per mile. Hydrogen trains completely bypass this. They can run on existing, non-electrified tracks tomorrow without altering a single piece of infrastructure. Third is noise reduction. If you've ever stood near an idling diesel train, you know how incredibly loud and vibrating they are. Hydrogen trains are driven by electric motors, making them whisper quiet. This is a massive win for cities and residential areas located near train tracks. Finally, they offer superior range and refueling times compared to battery-only trains. While a battery-powered train might take hours to charge and only cover short distances, a hydrogen train can be completely refueled in just 15 to 20 minutes and travel up to 600 miles on a single fill. But it's not all perfect. If hydrogen trains were a flawless solution, every diesel train on Earth would already be gone. The reality is that this technology faces massive hurdles. The biggest issue is the efficiency paradox. Think about it. To make green hydrogen, you have to use renewable electricity to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. Then you compress that hydrogen, transport it to a train station, pump it into the train, and use a fuel cell to turn it back into electricity. Every time energy changes form, you lose some of it. In fact, roughly 60 to 70% of the original renewable energy is lost along the way. Direct electrification via overhead wires is vastly more energy efficient. Second is the problem of green hydrogen scarcity. Over 90% of the hydrogen produced globally today is gray hydrogen, which is made from natural gas in a process that releases massive amounts of CO2. Using gray hydrogen in a train doesn't solve the climate problem. It just moves the pollution from the train track to a chemical plant. True green hydrogen is still rare and highly expensive. Lastly, there is the infrastructure challenge. Storing high-pressure hydrogen requires specialized, incredibly safe fueling stations. Building these networks from scratch across entire countries requires immense upfront capital. So, what is the ultimate verdict? Hydrogen trains are not a silver bullet that will replace every train on Earth. Where tracks see heavy traffic and high speeds, traditional overhead electrification will always win on efficiency. However, for regional routes, rural tracks, and challenging terrains where building overhead wires is a financial impossibility, hydrogen trains offer a brilliant, revolutionary bridge to a zero-emission future. They are transforming from a bold experiment into a core pillar of green transit. What do you think? Would you ride on a train powered entirely by water chemistry? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another look into the future of technology. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.